and today we are learning how to add whole numbers, okay? If you're following along in said book, it's page 4 through 5, and this is lesson 2. So when you're adding whole numbers, how do you know that your answer is reasonable? All right, so this goes into estimation. Estimation. All right, estimation is rounding to nearest value. All right. If you're looking to find out if your answer is reasonable, you have to estimate, you have to round to the nearest value in order to decide if you have the correct answer or not. A good example of this in the real world is if you're shopping, okay? Do you think about the total amount that you should pay before you are ready to pay? Are you ever worried that, I don't know, that you might not have enough money or that you might be getting charged too much? Okay, these are proper systems and where estimation is a useful thing and a pretty needed thing as well. All right, so a good way to start when you're starting with adding whole numbers is you want to find values that add up to 10 or 100 or 1000. Okay, these are your addition facts. All right, so 3 plus 7, they equal 10. Okay, that makes mental math relatively easy. Same thing for 7 plus 3. It's virtually the same thing where they both equal 10. All right, so if you find these values that equal up to 10, it will make your mental math really easy when you're struggling. So right here, we have 23 plus 7. We know that 3 plus 7 equals 10. All right, since we know that that equals 10, we know that there's going to be a 0 here, and we're going to then take 20 plus 30. Sorry, not plus 30. My bad. Plus 10 equals 30. All right, and you start with these two values here, the farthest right. Same thing with down here. You know that 3 plus 7 equals 10. All right, so now you're taking this 40 plus 10 equal to 50. All right, if you can make a value of 10, value of 1000, value of 100, whatever it is, out of something, it makes your addition much easier and decides whether you have a reasonable answer or not. So when you're coming here, you get something like this, okay? You have these numbers, remember, are place values. This is ones, this is tens, this is ones, this is tens, all right? And you guys remember the expanded form that we learned last lesson, or place values of whole numbers? You have 2 tens plus 3 ones. And for 84, you have 8 tens plus 4 ones. All right, if you were to add these together, you can do either way. You can either go right to left on the number, or you can go left to right. If you're going left to right, this would be 20 plus 80, which would equal 100, right? That's if we add the tens and the tens to each other. Or, no, not or, and then you would take the ones and you would add them together, which would be 2 plus 3. Sorry, that's plus 4. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. Therefore, your answer would then be 100 plus 7 equals 107. Go. Now, if you were to go the other way, right, this would only work if you were going from this direction. Let's do this direction this time. All right, you could go the ones plus the ones. 6 plus 4 equals 10. And you could do the tens plus each other. 5 plus 8 equals 13. But this is tens, right? So this isn't just 13, this is 130. So you'd have 130 plus 10, which would give you 100. I'm sorry, that's not right. This PowerPoint's wrong. Wrong! Right, 6 plus 4 equals 10. Carry the 1. 8 plus 5 is 13, 14, 140. It should be 140. This PowerPoint got it wrong. All right, ignore that 113. So now we have a big number like this, right? So if you wanted to write this in expanded form, this would be 4,000 plus, right, that'd be right there. This is the thousands place. Then we would do the hundreds places, right? So 200 plus 300. Okay, 4,000 plus 200 plus 300 would be 4,000 plus 500, which would give us 4,500. We would then move to the tens position. 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay, so now we have 4,500 plus 70 plus 70, which would give us 70 plus 70 equals 140. Add that to the 45 and you'd have 4,640. And lastly, we do the ones. 6 plus 2 is 8. So we'd add 8 to this last one and would get 4,648. Okay, that was if we went this way. Now, if we were to go the other way, going this way, right, we would get 6 plus 8, or 6 plus 2 equals 8. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 3 and 2 equals 5. And 4 is left alone. Okay, so now this is 8 because that's the ones. Now this is tens, so this would be 140 because it's 14 tens. When there's 14 tens, it then becomes 140. And right here we are adding hundreds, so this is 500. So now you got 4,000 plus 500 plus 140 plus 8. Add these two guys together and you have 640. So now you just put these all together and you get 4,648. Okay, with these big ones, you could do the same thing. Going this direction. All right, you start with the thousands. These are the only two thousands, so you'd go 790,000 plus 4,000. Would give us 794,000. Okay, so we did that, we did that. Now we're at the hundreds. So you'd start with 794,000 plus 200 plus 800 plus 500. All right, 200 plus 800 is 1,000 plus 500 gives us 1,500. You add that to 794 and you would get 795,500. So now we've done the hundreds, check, check, check. We're on to the tens. So 795,500 plus 30 plus 20 plus 80. So 20 plus 30 equals 50. 50 plus 80 equals 130. So now 795,500 plus 130 equals 795,630. Tens are done. Boop, boop, boop. Then you'd have the ones. So you get 4 plus 3 plus 7, and you'd get 14. You add those two together, and you get 795,644. Now, I personally like going this way, where you start with the ones, and then you go to the tens, the hundreds, the thousands. All right. This is my personal favorite. So, oops. Let's go right here. We have all of these ones. So we start with the ones. So 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So we'd write the 4 here, and we move on to the tens. Oops. This one's not a 10. There we go. So we got 5 plus 2 plus 3, or sorry, 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Now this would actually be 130 because it's 13 tens. Right? Move on to the hundreds. Because we doop, 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 doop. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 2 is 11, but because it's hundreds, we need to add 2 zeros. So far, we have 14, 130, and 1100. All right, so now we're done with the, oops, just crossed out the thousands. I meant to cross out only the hundreds. Hundreds. And lastly, we have the thousands. 790 plus 4 is 794. When you add them all together, you get an answer. Oh goodness. 795,640. So right here, right, we have these wonderful guys. Another way that you can do this is if you write it in a different way. Okay, I like to write this way. I like to write to where it's right side up and all the place values line up, right? So here you have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 100,000s. Because when they all line up, it just makes life a little bit easier. Because you got 5 plus 5 and that equals a value of 10, which is what we always shoot for. You put the ones down here and you carry the tens up here. So now you have 4 plus 1, which is equal to 5. 0 is added to nothing. 3 is added to nothing. 1 is added to nothing. So you get 13,050. Yep, nailed it. Let's try this one. 634 plus 76. Remember, you always need to add your operation here, because otherwise we don't know what operation is happening. So we got all of our place values lined up again. And 4 plus 6, that equals 10. So we're going to put a 0 here, take our 1 up here, carry the 1. 7 plus 3 also equals 10, plus 1 would equal 11. So we put the 1's value down here and carry the 10's value up there. So now you have 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. 710. Yep, nailed it. All right, so now we have bigger numbers and smaller numbers. Line up all the values, all the placeholders, sorry. So that ones are in line, tens are in line, hundreds are in line, and thousands are in line. And we just go through and we add them. 4 plus 2 equals 6. 3 plus 7 equals 10. So we put the ones value down here and the tens value up here. 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. And 9 plus 0 equals 9. So 9,106. Bingo! You can also sit here and go like this, right? There's a couple different ways that you can always do these. You can write them out. You can do whatever. Why don't you go ahead and try this one on your own first. Go ahead and try this. Just pause the video, try and solve it. Okay. So if you got 1100, you're right. You get this by 851 plus 249, right? You line up all your values. 9 plus 1 equals 10, carry the 1. 5 plus 4 equals 9, plus 1 equals 10, carry the 1. And 8 plus 2 equals 10, plus 1 equals 11. Now that since we're at the end of our place values, you just write the whole 11 value. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Go ahead and pause it. All right. Did you get 380,020? If you did, good job. So with this here, this is a word problem, okay? Word problems tend to be a little bit more challenging and there's a little bit more information that's added into them, all right? So this word problem, you want to kind of estimate to get close to the number without actually having to figure out the number. Because when we estimate, we get close to the right number and it can just be too much of a hassle when trying to solve it all the way through. So during a 2-day karate tournament, 1,465 tickets were sold on the first day, and 2,780 tickets were sold on the second day. How many tickets were sold for the tournament? All right. So what equation could you write to solve the word problem? First things first is I would go through and circle the numbers they have. Okay, the big numbers that are relevant. Okay, these are both the numbers of tickets. All right, so these are the number of tickets they're doing, and they sold them on the first day. Now, what do they want to know? They want to know how many tickets were sold for the tournament. So, if they want to know how many, we're probably going to add them. So this would be our equation, 1,465 plus 2,780. All right. Now, we're going to write in a T right here. Okay, this T represents tickets. Okay, it just means that we don't know what T is yet. Okay, it's a holder right there. It's a variable. All right, any letter, you can use any letter for a variable, but T is for tickets because we like T and it's relevant to what we're doing. Now, I'll stop that. Okay, so you're going to start by adding them up. So right here, we're starting with the thousands. So 1,000 plus 3,000. Okay, when we're rounding, you want to take this number and decide whether you go up or you go down. All right. So if we're rounding to the nearest thousand, 2,780 is closer to 3,000, just as 1,465 is closer to 1,000. Okay, if we're rounding, you would then add these, and you'd get 4,000. This is our estimate. All right, it's just a guess at where our number should be. So now that we have that estimate, we can now actually solve it, and we should get close to this 4,000. Sorry, let me get my pen out of the way. All right, so we should get close to this 4,200, 4,000. All right. Boop, boop. So we got to start first things first by adding this up. 5 plus 0 gets us 5. 6 plus 8, right, gives us 14. Carry the 1. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12. So you put the 1 value down here and carry the 1. Then we got 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So our answer should be 4,200 and, oh goodness. My pen's all over the place now. 4,245. That's the amount of tickets we want to buy, or that have been bought, sorry. So for these ones, okay, I want you to go ahead and try and solve these as your practice problems. Go ahead and try to solve this next one and check your answer. So as you can see, 7 plus 5 gave us 12. So they took the 2, carried the 1 up here. So on and so forth. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12, so they kept the 2 and took the 1 up here. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. All right, go ahead and try and solve this one. This one's a 3 one, so go ahead and try your best. And your answer. This is our estimation. All right, this is what we're estimating, because we know that this would go down to 2,000. We know this one would go up to 2,000. And we know that this is close to 700, so it would go down to 700. Okay, that's how we got 4,700. We add them all up. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 3 is 20. So 0 comes down here, 10s go up there, and you work your way down the line. So you should have gotten 4,750 in total. All right, thanks for joining me.